Hi, and welcome to SimpleSpiritualityPH. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Regine. I am an intuitive, manifesting-based tarot reader. I am a certified Reiki healer and an overall lightworker. And before we dive into today's episode, I would like to invite everyone who would like to receive notifications on my new videos to please hit the subscribe button over there. If you like this video later on, please give it your thumbs up. If you have any comments, suggestions, you want to say hey, please do comment them down below. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. Okay, that was a sip of water. I hope everyone's hydrated and happy today. Now, this topic, I have actually covered in the past. I made a video on this, I think in 2019, if I'm not mistaken, but some time has passed and I think that we need an update of that video. So I'm actually going to delete that video. You won't be able to find it anymore once this, once this video is actually out. But it's actually a very important topic. And this sprung about because I find that some of my clients are new and they've been asking me for advice. And so the question really is, what is a good question to ask the tarot? Or what are some questions that I can ask the tarot? And let's throw in a little bit of what are the bad, quote-unquote, questions to ask the tarot. So that's a very important topic, and I think that it's important because the way you phrase your question will actually optimize the answer that you get. All right? So however your question is phrased will make or break the satisfaction level, that the tarot can answer, basically. And so let's first establish a premise. You can actually ask the tarot literally anything, and the tarot will always answer. But the thing is, there are some questions which are called appropriate questions and inappropriate questions. So the appropriate questions are, again, the ones which are optimized. Optimized meaning they're phrased in such a way that will elicit a satisfying response from the tarot. Satisfying meaning it satisfies your curiosity, maybe even gives you clear-cut points on what to do, moving forward, how to get to what you want to be, where you want to be, or what you want to become, and basically it just gives you that all-around feeling of my question has been answered to the fullest. All right, so those are appropriate questions. Now, inappropriate questions are the ones which don't do that at all. They're always subject to change. They are not really optimized, and they only give you kind of like short-lived satisfaction, basically. And whenever you come to a tarot reading, you might as well optimize it, right? You might as well get the answers that you've been looking for, right? So that's the first premise. Now, the second premise is that whatever you're feeling, thinking, believing, and focusing on the day that you go to your tarot reading or on the day that you ask, that is what the tarot is going to pick up. And my usual example for this, and actually my favorite example for this, is the millionaire answer, the millionaire question, the millionaire answer. And it goes like this. Let's say, for example, that today you ask me, Jin, will I be a millionaire? But for this very moment that you asked, you actually don't believe it. You don't feel, think, believe, and focus on the fact that it's possible to be a millionaire. And so the tarot will pick that up and say, no, you won't be a millionaire. Let's say, for example, that you heard me say no, and you decided that you weren't going to take that as an answer. You are going to make yourself a millionaire no matter what, no matter the cost. And later tonight, you send out some resumes. You contact some people who are in companies which are actively hiring, and pay a lot of money for it, right? Let's say that you go buy lottery tickets, and you actually buy the winning one. When you come to me the next day and ask me the same question of, Jin, will I be a millionaire? The tarot will most probably already change by maybe half. Maybe half will say yes, or maybe even from a full no, maybe one third of the cards will say yes, or maybe even a full yes. And that is because your energy, your everything towards your question has already changed. Remember that everything in this world is made of energy, and the cards are made of energy. They pick up your energy. It doesn't matter how well you're hiding whatever it is that you're asking about. The tarot will always pick up your dominant energy on it for that day that you asked. All right? So let's just establish that premise. Now, let me take another sip of water. Love water. Anyway, so let's go to the actual questions. One common question that I oftentimes get asked by clients is, will I find love? And let's take that as an example of an inappropriate question, or something that is actually considered as a bad, quote unquote, question. All right? And bad doesn't necessarily mean that it's evil or that it's, negative in any way, but it just means that this question is not really optimized, simply because it's going to change. If I tell you that no, you're not going to find love, then you're going to want to do something about it, right? And you might change your attitude towards it. Or you could actually react in a way that brings you even more down about it, It brings you to a more negative level, to a more negative feeling place about it, right? And in effect, will not have helped you at all, right? It only helped you to spiral down, but it didn't help you to do something about it, like work about it. And that's in another video, actually, how lightworkers should relay their message. I think I have a video of that. If I do, I'll leave it linked up there. If I haven't, I'll do a video on it, right? So that's an example of an inappropriate question, because it's short-lived. It will not give you long-lasting satisfaction, and you can't really do anything about it. Not that much, at least. Like you're still kind of in the woods about it. It's like, will I find love? Yes, no, okay, what then? And it ends there. So it's a very unfulfilling kind of question. So that's an example of the inappropriate one, of the bad question. Usually the yes or no questions. And this also goes for the when kinds of questions, like what day will I receive this? Or will I be, a lot of questions are, will I be married by this time? Will I have a boyfriend by this time? By this year, by tomorrow, by later, These are short-lived questions. They are not really that fulfilling, even though our curiosity is at a high, high state. And they are also subject to change, Again, we take the millionaire example. Let's say that today I tell you that you're not going to be a millionaire, and you work your freaking ass off to start changing that belief. By tomorrow, you will already have shortened that time frame of you and the end goal of becoming a millionaire, from not really believing it, not believing it's possible, to it's now so possible that you might actually win that lotto ticket that you bought, So it's always subject to change like that. That's why I also call when questions inappropriate questions, because they don't really give much satisfaction, much fulfillment, and you really can't, there's no kind of like, it's not that clear, to be real. And they always change again. So you always need to ask for this. You always need to keep asking follow-up questions for when questions, and when and yes or no questions. All right. Now, the better question to ask, actually, and let's go with a love question, right? The better question, sorry, my hair's everywhere. The better question to ask, or the better way to phrase that love question is, what can I do to help myself find love? What can I do to help myself find love? Or how can I help myself find love? How can I help myself find love? You see, this question is loaded with so many talking points. It's loaded with a possibility to be answered in a fulfilling way, right? It's loaded with a prompt for you. It's loaded with an action point for you to do. It will make you feel like you are involved in this process, because you are involved in this process. You are 100% in control of your life, right? So you are 100% involved in this process. And the tarot is really good at telling you these things. The tarot is really good at telling you what you can do, how you can make that happen. What is the current situation so that you can move forward towards the life that you want to live, right? And that is actually the best form of a question that you can ask. Usually the hows and the what can you do type of questions, you know. The what questions are somewhere in between. I get questions like, what job should I do next? You know, like in the, let's say, for example, that my client has resigned from their job and they want to know what to do next. You know, they always ask, sometimes they ask, what can I do next? Or what field can I go for next? Now, for these kinds of questions, I usually leave it open-ended. Unless there is a very clear-cut card that the tarot will really present, and a clear-cut kind of field that the tarot will really message out or voice out, you know, from the querients, from the questioner's subconscious, you know, that probably they don't know, right? So these are the questions in between. So we have the inappropriate questions, which are the whens and the yes or no's. We have the middle questions, which are somewhat satisfying, but still subject to high change. You know, these are the what kinds of questions. And then we have the questions, which are how, the how questions, and what can I do questions. How can I help myself questions. How can I get there questions, you know, or how can I earn more money? Or, you know, what can I do to help myself earn more money? Active questions, which the tarot is more than happy to, you know, answer for you, give you tips, give you action points on what the next step would be, right? So those are the kinds of questions which are actually not good to ask and very good to ask in the term of the spectrum, all right? So when you're formulating your question, ask yourself, what is your end goal? What is the thing that you really want to achieve from this tarot reading? Is it simply just a yes or no? I mean, that's always possible. And for me, whenever I'm asked a yes or no, I usually just gauge it out with percentages from my pendulum and the number of cards, actually. And I will always say that it is just for today. It will change tomorrow, depending on what you're going to do next. All right. So yeah, formulate your questions with hows and, like for example, a lot of people who in the love department who asked about the love department actually ask me, what are some blocks that I have that I can, that I need to address? Or what is limiting me from having a fulfilling relationship? Or I've gotten the question also of what was it? What's keeping me from getting my dream job? You know, so you can also ask those kinds of questions, and the tarot will also answer in a fulfilling kind of way. They are what questions, which are in the middle, right? So always remember that they are subject to change, but they're still much better than they're still much better than yes or no questions or the when questions, all right? So yes, I hope this was helpful. I know that a lot of people are very concerned about how to phrase their questions. Don't be afraid. Even I, for myself, when I read tarot for myself, I think about my questions a lot. And sometimes I write it down and choose the best one, you know, the best question, so that I can optimize and really learn and really have a takeaway from the reading, okay? So if you have any more questions like this, you can just comment them down below or DM them to me on Instagram. I'll leave my Instagram here and maybe down below. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it your thumbs up. If you have any comments, again, suggestions, you want to say hey, comment them down below. If you would like to receive notifications of my new videos, please hit the subscribe button over there. And if you would like your very own tarot reading or Reiki healing session with me, online for now, of course, here are the details. And that's it. Stay happy, stay healthy. I don't know if there's going to be a part 2 of this. Maybe if you guys have any questions, I can answer them too. So yeah, for now, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.